Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. We are back with the questions on jurisprudence. Today's first question is, what types of rights does jurisprudence study? Individual rights, collective rights, and human rights. What is the main focus of free will theories of law? Individual autonomy, choice, and a personal responsibility. What are the primary sources of law? Legislation, judicial precedents, customary law, and international law. Why does jurisprudence study the sources of law? To understand how laws are created, interact, and evolve over time. What is a central debate in a jurisprudence regarding law and morality? Whether law should be distinct from morality, that is legal positivism, or based on moral principles, that is natural law theory. Which two philosophers are most associated with free will theories? John Locke and John Stuart Mill. What does jurisprudence examine in relation to justice and fairness? It investigates whether legal rules align with the moral principles of justice and fairness. How does jurisprudence define rights and duties? Rights are legal entitlements, while duties are legal obligations. What do free will theories say about the purpose of law? Law should protect individual freedoms and prevent unjust interference. What concept from classical liberalism influences free will theories? Limited government intervention. What does law as the practice of courts mean? Law as the practice of courts refers to how courts interpret, apply, and enforce legal rules in specific cases. What is the primary role of courts in the legal systems? To resolve disputes, uphold the justice, and ensure laws are correctly applied. Who is responsible for interpreting laws in court? Judges. What factors influence judicial decisions? Legal precedents, statutory interpretation, and case facts. How can courts modify or create new legal principles? Through judicial review and rulings on constitutional issues. How does jurisprudence explore legal interpretation? By analyzing how laws are interpreted and applied by judges and legal actors. What is the debate in legal interpretation? Whether interpretation should strictly follow the text, that is strict constructionism, or broader social, political, and moral considerations. What are the main types of justice discussed in jurisprudence? Distributive justice, corrective justice, and procedural justice. Which theorists have contributed to theories of justice? John Rawls and Robert Nozick. How does jurisprudence relate to society? It studies how law influences social behavior and values, shaping societal order. What are John Locke's three natural rights? Life, liberty, and property. What is the role of law in a free will theories? To provide rules that allow free choices while preventing harm to others. What is a criticism of free will theories? They can be overly individualistic and ignore social inequality. How do free will theories view state intervention? The state should only intervene to prevent a harm, not to control personal choices. What is the adversarial system? A legal system where two opposing parties present their cases before an impartial judge. What is the judge's role in the adversarial system? To ensure a fair trial and apply the law impartially. What are the main types of cases courts handle? Civil cases, criminal cases, and constitutional cases. Why do courts follow procedural rules? To ensure fairness, order, and a due process. What is the doctrine of stare decisis? A principle where courts follow previous legal precedents to ensure consistency. What does sociological jurisprudence emphasize? The social context of law and its impact on communities. How does jurisprudence examine law and social change? By studying how legal systems evolve to address issues like inequality and discrimination. What is comparative jurisprudence? Comparative jurisprudence is the study of different legal systems across cultures and traditions. Why is comparative jurisprudence important? It helps in understanding how societies approach law and justice differently. What legal systems are compared in jurisprudence? Civil law, common law, and religious legal systems. Why do critics say free will theories overlook social responsibilities? They focus on individual rights but may neglect collective needs like health and welfare. Why is judicial discretion important? It allows judges to interpret laws fairly in ambiguous cases. What is a legal precedent? Legal precedent is a past judicial decision that guides future cases. Which legal system relies heavily on precedent? Common law system. How does precedent benefit the legal system? It ensures consistency and predictability in rulings. What is legal transplantation in jurisprudence? The study of how legal concepts are adopted across different legal traditions. What does jurisprudence encompass beyond the technical legal rules? It explores moral, philosophical, and social foundations of law. Why is jurisprudence considered interdisciplinary? Because it incorporates insights from philosophy, sociology, politics, and economics. What role does jurisprudence play in a legal theory and practice? It helps in both developing legal theory and applying law to address societal needs. Why are courts essential for dispute resolution? They provide an impartial venue to settle conflicts legally. What alternative methods exist besides court litigation, mediation, and negotiation? Who plays a key role in court proceedings besides judges? Lawyers. What are the responsibilities of lawyers in court? Representing clients, presenting arguments, and examining witnesses. How do social norms encourage complaints? Social norms encourage complaints through informal social sanctions such as exclusion, gossip, or disapproval. What are the two examples of formal sanctions in the legal system? Fines and imprisonment. How do legal norms evolve over time? Legal norms evolve through legislative amendments or judicial rulings.